Put that hand on me again, you won't get it back.
What's up, guys? It's the Film Teen, and today we will be talking about The Book of Eli. Why the 10-year-old movie? Well, it is one of my friend's favorite movies, and he's been trying to get me to watch it for a while, and I finally did. So I have some interesting thoughts on it, so I thought I'd make a video about it. So, today, we will be giving The Book of Eli a quick review, and we will be discussing the topic: how does one stay sane in a broken world? So, let's do it. I really loved the way they shot the environment in this movie. It made me feel like I was playing a video game, and I enjoyed it so much. The later action sequences had me really on the edge of my seat, and they used some CGI tricks to make the camera move in some interesting ways, and I was down for it. I really love that this movie is carried by none other than Denzel Washington and Gary Oldman. They give really interesting performances, and Mila Kunis is along for the ride. And I love the cinematography and how they were able to create some interesting images with just the lighting and production design that all consist of the same color. Nevertheless, the images that only consisted of one color got very boring to me halfway through the film. It was hard to watch the whole hour and 57 minutes because every time I looked at the screen, each shot kind of looked the same. I got tired of it, especially when at the end of the movie, more color was introduced. I felt like, why couldn't it look like this the whole time? But anyway, there are long stretches in the movie with no dialogue, and a story that leaves me wanting more. And the product placement in the end, that made me laugh. But due to some interesting performances and some pretty cool action sequences, hey, I'd recommend it if you're just wanting to be entertained. I feel like it's a perfect movie to leave on the TV while you're cleaning up the house. I give this movie a 3-star rating. Alright guys, now that we've talked about the Book of Eli, I'd love to dive into some meatier ideas. So, how does one stay sane in a world full of broken promises? This existential idea has been brewing in the back of my mind since my sister and I watched a season and a half of The Walking Dead a month ago. A huge struggle in the show was that these characters had no idea what their purpose was. They've seen their human relationships crumble and entire industries get destroyed. So what is there for them to look forward in life? It made for a very interesting viewing experience for me, as many of the characters question the reason for their existence. And I feel like I can see some of that happening in our world today with the coronavirus. The film industry is changing, and higher education is changing. Basically, just about anything anyone does outside ever is changing, and it's all because of the virus. So, how do we stay happy during these changing times? I will be looking at the Book of Eli and The Walking Dead to outline some points to help us do so. So how does Denzel Washington do it? Or Eli, rather? Well, 5 minutes in the movie, you can see that Eli is a guy who appreciates the little things. He rejoices after finding some boots from a dead man's feet in a closet, despite there being no water in the house and the fact that he already had some. He takes them anyway. And he criticizes our old society, or the world before the Flash, for not being appreciative of the little necessities that we do have. You can see this sentiment in The Walking Dead Season 1 when characters will take risks to achieve vanity, which makes sense because they are closer in time to the world that they used to know, but it comes at a great risk. You can see this when Glenn's character tries to drive in the bright red Charger car that he finds in the city, but it's really loud, and he attracts a ton of zombies, so much so that he's chewed out by the rest of the members because it's such a risk. And little reckless actions like that ultimately culminate in the end of the season where, spoiler alert, a bunch of zombies come and end up attacking their camp, resulting in the death of one of the members' sisters. So my takeaway from the situation is we should try to develop an attitude of gratitude, no matter how cringy it may sound. Another issue with the characters in The Walking Dead is that they really didn't have anything to believe in. I mean, what was the point of anything they did in the show? And the same problems even plague some less sophisticated members of Eli's world. You can see that as other members of gangs line the streets waiting for people to walk by so that they can kill them and take their things and eat them. But if you can find something to believe in, then you can attach meaning to even the seemingly meaningless activities of daily life, like Eli's slow steps towards his destination on his journey. Gary Oldman's Carnegie claims that if people had belief or something they could attach their faith to, there'd be no reason for their negative desires to exist. They would be sustained. As Nietzsche says, he who has a why can bear almost any how. So find your why and guard it with your life. Next point, defend yourself from harmful forces. Eli defends himself from negative energy in a really cool way. In The Walking Dead, however, characters often struggle and harbor emotional trauma about their dead loved ones. For instance, near the beginning of Season 2, the characters decide to hide out at a farm that they find because it's seemingly zombieless. But their illusion of safety is shattered when they learn that one of the characters has just been hoarding them up in a barn. And what did they have to do? Well, the accumulation of time and all the zombies created a large horde that they all had to fight off by gunning up and ganging up. And it made for a pretty cool sequence. But, point being, don't bottle up your trauma. Let it out. Take some time to heal, and then squash it like a bug. Because the more that you leave in the barn, the worse it will get. Eli rips off the Band-Aid. He calls out the people hiding behind the rubbish trying to kill him, and he eliminates them. And he's safe, protected. So the last tip that I have is to listen to you guys' inner voice. Along Eli's journey, he is faced with a lot of batty, crazy people that just want him dead. At the center of it all, Carnegie, the evil librarian villain, comes at him like a snake in a forest, trying to offer empty promises with negative intent so they can destroy him and his faith. But Eli sniffs out the deception, and Eli fights his way to the end. And I did hear some people criticize this movie, saying that they didn't like the religious dogma. And honestly, I think it'd be better if, for the sake of this, we just pretend that it's a MacGuffin that we can attach any meaning to. So let's do that. Eli is following his inner voice, and he's protected. He's walking his path, and he found his people by the end of his journey. Find refuge in a place where people care about you and your ideas. A place where you can leave behind a lasting legacy. Find your own people. Venture out from your comfort zone and see some new frontiers in your life. Although the pandemic does make it harder to reach out, I'd recommend using some tools that we have like the internet to stay in contact with loved ones that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. Find your community. Overall, it sounds like I'm just telling you all to start a YouTube channel. But all jokes aside, I just started this channel because I wanted to meet some cool people who want to talk about movies. And I'm having a blast. So if you want to be a part of the family, subscribe, like and comment to give me feedback because I'd love to hear it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Watch more movies, wash your hands, and be careful out there. It's kind of scary. See you guys next time.